Hi, I'm Devin. Thank you for joining me today and taking a moment for movement. Today's exercises will focus on stretching and strengthening the upper body to improve our posture. With proper body alignment, we have less aches and pains, we can breathe deeply, and our digestion will improve. Not to mention, it will boost our confidence. You don't need any special equipment for this workout, just a yoga mat or a carpeted floor. Let's get started. First, let's come into a comfortable seated position. I like to begin with my knees folded and sitting on my heels. That way, I can keep my body upright. If this is uncomfortable in your knees or your ankle joints, feel free to try a different position, or you can place a bolster, a pillow, a yoga block just between your heels so you're propped up a little bit higher. If you swing your legs around and take a cross-legged approach, that's fine. But depending on our hip flexibility, you may already feel that your body is rounding, and we don't want to have that posture today. So it's really important we sit tall. If you find that that C curve is already happening to your spine, again, take another yoga mat, a bath towel, a couch cushion, and just gently place it under your tailbone so you're propped up a little bit higher. We want to make sure that our shoulders are back and stacked over our hips, regardless of the alignment of the legs. So let's take a couple nice deep breaths, noticing where our body is in space. So roll the shoulders back, sit up tall, pull the chin in slightly, and just notice how that feels. Feel a little bit more tall, a little bit more upright? We're on the right track. Let's begin by loosening the upper body, rolling the shoulders back and forward. Just let them relax. And you can move at your own pace. All right, now that we've done that a couple times in each direction, I'd like you to stop moving just for a moment, and we're going to do this next circle together. Lift your shoulders up, roll them back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and pause. This is where I want you to feel the alignment. The shoulders back, that gentle stretch through the front of the chest, the squeezing of the shoulder blades together, and the placement of the shoulders directly over our hips. The last piece of the puzzle is our head and neck. Many of us have a tendency to lean forward, so I'd like you to pull your chin back slightly. Our ears should be just about over our shoulders. That's what we're aiming for. So when you're sitting at your desk, in your car, on your couch later, I want you to try and find this position. The more we practice, the more second nature it becomes. So let's continue by creating some bigger circles. Again, just let those shoulders relax while keeping the torso in place. Opposite direction. Good. All right, arms back down to our sides. Let's rotate and come into a child's pose. So we're on our knees, sitting back on our heels, and we're just going to walk our hands straight out in front of us, letting our body come forward over the thighs, reaching our forehead down towards the floor, and creating space in the upper back as we inch our fingertips further forward on the mat. If your forehead doesn't touch the floor, that's okay. Just keep reaching the face down towards the mat and breathe deeply. Let's lift the head up slightly and inch our hands over towards the right corner of our room, sitting back into the left hip. So if you were wearing a pair of jeans, you'd be reaching back through that left back pocket. Feel the stretch on the outside, the left side of the torso. And now walk your hands back through center and over towards the left corner of your room, sitting back into your right hip. Excellent. Let's come back through center. Place your palms down on the mat, lift your hips up. Center your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your palms. So you may need to adjust slightly. We're going to continue to warm up the body, specifically the muscles along the spine as well as the abdominals, with a couple cat-cows. So as you exhale, I'd really like you to arch your back, draw your chin in towards your chest. And as you inhale, round your spine, lifting the chin, looking upwards. So exhale. arch. Inhale, round. So again, move at your own pace, with your own breath. Warming up those muscles that help support the spine, turning on the abs as they draw the ribs towards the hips. Good, let's do one more, and then come to neutral spine, just on our hands and knees. All right, so from here, draw your abs in towards your spine. Activate the abdominals. Reach the right arm and left leg long. So this is challenging to our balance. If at any point you feel too wobbly, you can always lower one hand down, or you can just keep the back toes on the mat. Okay, so continuing to move with the breath, we're inhaling our right arm and left leg long. Exhaling, bending the knee and elbow, drawing them together, tucking the chin. So inhale, lengthen, and exhale, round, knee and elbow together. So strengthening the muscles along the back side of the body as we reach, strengthening the muscles throughout the torso, the front of the body, as we bring the knee and elbow together. Good. On your next inhale, let's hold it here, reaching a little bit longer, lifting just a little bit higher, keeping the body as steady as possible. And now let's lower the hand and knee down to the floor. Great job. Switch sides, left arm, right leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee and elbow, tuck the chin. So again, you can always slide that foot on the mat, or just keep the hand down and just work the lower body. Okay, so it gives you a couple options. Many of us have one side of the body that's a little bit stronger, a little bit more steady, and that's totally normal. So let's do one more. Inhale, nice and long, hold it here, keep breathing of course. Reaching through the fingers, lifting through the heel, working the muscles all the way down the back side of the body. Excellent. Hand and knee down to the floor. I'd like you to lower your hips to your heels. Walk your hands out, again, straight out in front of the shoulders, reaching your forehead down towards the mat. And breathe. Feel the rib cage expand to the sides. And now we'll lift the hips up, come back onto our hands and knees, but now we're going to bring our elbows down directly under the shoulders. From here, we're going to press our hips back again, so this changes the stretch. You'll feel it around the outside of the rib cage, between the shoulder blades. If it's too intense, just shift the shoulders forward slightly. Keeping in mind, we always want to feel a stretch. If it's too intense, back off it a little bit. We don't want to be in pain. Good. Let's lift our shoulders back over the elbows and plant the left hand and the right hand back down on the mat. We're going to start by picking up the right hand, placing the back of the hand to the floor under the center of our chest, and we're going to reach our right fingertips towards the left edge of our mat, lowering our right shoulder, ear, and temple down to the floor, keeping our hips over our knees, feeling that stretch through the upper back and shoulder blades. If you don't feel much of a stretch here, keep reaching your right fingertips a little bit further away, or adjust your hips, maybe lowering them down or lifting them up will intensify that stretch for you or make you feel it a little bit more. Let's gently release, press into the left hand, straighten out the left arm so you can pull the right arm back, plant the right hand down under the right shoulder, and switch sides. Back of the left hand to the floor, slide it over to the right, lowering the left shoulder, the left temple and ear to the mat. Excellent. Let's release, press through the right hand, slide that left hand back out. planted down on the floor. Spread your fingers wide, and we're going to step our feet back into our traditional front plank. So pull the abs in, navel in towards the spine. Shoulders are directly over our wrists, and we're actively pressing through the center of the palm. So planks are a great exercise because they work so many muscle groups at once. We're building strength through the chest and shoulders, as well as the abs, the back, and the quads. So breathe deeply. At any point you need a break, just lower your knees down. If this is too intense, you can always do the plank from the knees. Take that modification. You're still building a tremendous amount of strength and heat. And let's hold it for one more breath. On our next exhale, press through the palms, lift the tailbone up, downward facing dog. Feel that stretch through the upper back. Let your head and neck relax. Look left and right gently, up and down. All right, so this is actually our little break. We're gonna do plank again. So let's take a deep breath in and out, lowering the hips, shifting the shoulders forward, bringing them back over the hands and wrists. Abs are drawing in. Feel free to take that modification on the knees. Excellent job. Let's make our way down to the mat on our abdomen. So let's bring our feet together. Tops of the feet are flat on the mat. Heels are now connected. Let's bring our hands just under the shoulders. Float them off the mat about an inch or two, squeezing the shoulder blades back and together. The elbows are tucked in next to your rib cage. As we inhale, let's gently lift the face, neck, and chest little by little. So think about lifting the crown of the head up, and we're strengthening the muscles of the lower back as we lift. So even though many of us think about our posture as a rounded shoulder position when we have poor posture, it's the lower back that really needs to work and be just as strong as the upper back to keep us supported. So let's take one more breath here and then release, come all the way down. You can stack one hand on top of the other, rest your cheek on top, make a little pillow, let your heels roll away from one another, and take a couple breaths and take a little break before we do another version of that pose. Excellent. Heels together. Slide our hands out wide, fingertips on the floor. So this time we'll have the support of our fingers, not our full hand again. So we're really strengthening the back. So as we inhale, let's lift the face, neck, and chest. Lift the crown of the head. Press through the fingertips, coming up higher this time. Breathe. And from here, we're going to lower our left shoulder towards the floor, looking towards the right. Feel that stretch through the front of the left shoulder, the left bicep and chest. Press through the hands, lift the chest back up, center it over the mat, switching sides. Right shoulder comes down towards the floor, look towards your left. Good, to come all the way up. Nice deep breath in as we look upwards. Exhale, come all the way down. Place the palms on the mat under your shoulders. Lift the hips up and back. Child's pose. Breathing deeply. And now lift the head, chest, and hips. We're going to bring our forearms down to the mat for a couple dolphins. Again, like planks, dolphins are great because we're not only working one muscle group, we're working several. The chest, the back, the shoulders. Intensely, the abs are also working as well as the glutes. So with our elbows on the mat, we're going to cup our hands around the elbows to ensure they're under our shoulders. Once they're in place, interlace your fingers out in front, pinky side down on the mat. Curl your toes, lift your knees off the floor, tailbone up towards the sky, and we're going to move with our breath. So as we inhale, we're lowering our hips down, coming into a forearm plank variation. As we exhale, we're pressing through the forearms, lifting the tailbone upwards, looking back towards our toes. So inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. You can make this more challenging by walking your feet towards your elbows, and a little bit easier by walking your feet away from your elbows. Okay, so adjust as needed. Again, the more we practice, the greater our flexibility and range of motion and strength. So wherever you are today, that's great. The important thing is we're doing it. Keep breathing. Inhale down. Exhale up. Good. Let's do 2 more. Excellent. Gently lower your knees down to the mat. Sit your hips on your heels and walk your body back, rounding it up off the thighs. Roll your shoulders back away from your ears. Check your chin. Pull it back a little bit if you need to. And take a nice deep breath. Okay, placing the right hand on the mat next to you, left arm up. Let's reach over to the right, finding a nice long line down the length of your arm. Good, let's come up, switching sides, left hand on the mat next to your hip, right arm up, reach across to the left, keeping the chest, shoulders, and hips forward. Good, let's come back through center, interlace the hands behind the back, roll the shoulder blades back and together, reach the thumbs away from your tailbone, open up the chest, look upwards. Release, hands to the lap, round the back of the body, draw your chin towards your chest. And inhale, nice and tall. Good. Let's swing our legs around. We're going to start with the left leg, so the knee can either be bent or it can be straight in front of us. Our right leg will step across. So again, left leg is straight or bent, regardless of your preference. Our hip is down, okay? So if you can't quite make contact with the mat with the right hip, if your left leg is bent, then please straighten it out. You'll get more out of the stretch, okay? So let's take our right hand, bring it behind the back, heel of the hand just behind the tailbone. Inhale, left arm up, nice and tall. Exhale, lower it down on the outside of the right thigh, open the chest and look over the right shoulder. So spinal twists like this are great for increasing our mobility of the spine. They also help aid with digestion. And we'll release. Switching sides. Right leg extended or bent in front of the body. Left foot steps across. Sit down into the left hip. Left hand behind the back. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, lower it on the outside of the left thigh. Look over the left shoulder. Good. Let's release. Bring our chest forward. Soles of the feet together, keeping the knees bent. Let the outer thighs drop down towards the outside edges of your mat. Let's inhale and exhale, lean forward. So again, nice flat back, tall spine. Lean the center of your chest towards your feet. And release. Come to a cross-legged position, hands at the heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today and taking a moment for movement. I hope you're feeling a little bit taller and a little bit more comfortable. If you enjoyed today's workout, please subscribe and click the bell for updates on future videos.